Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, as we celebrate the 75th birthday of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, aka NASCAR, 75 years ago today, we had Big Bill France Sr., and 29 other dignitaries, some moonshiners, some businessmen, some racetrack owners, all get together in the Streamline Hotel at Daytona Beach, Florida, to hammer out a association for stock car racing where all the rules were the same, the purses were paid out, and we had kind of a standardized set of rules and regulations for a stock car racing series. 75 years later, the billion-dollar industry of NASCAR was born. Amazing how far we've came with the sport and some of the records we still have from back in the day and some of the changes that, as the society has changed, as things change, we've kind of migrated to where we are today. I would love to see the late model series kind of follow suit. Topic for another video, but yeah, 4 regions, all the same rules for late models. We'll bring back the old ASA. We're bringing back North Wilkesboro. What's old is new again. Alright, this topic is the most starts per car number. So yeah, we know there are some iconic car numbers in NASCAR. Most iconic, obviously, the 43, the 3. There's talk about how iconic the 48 is. The fact that Jimmy Johnson, fans want him to have it back, and Alex Bowman currently drives the 48. We're going to look at overall starts. So in NASCAR, in that 75-year history, what we know is the Cup Series began in 1949 as a strictly stock series. From 1949 through 2022, there's been 2,714 NASCAR-sanctioned races. Now, there's been 2,713 NASCAR Cup Series winners. We all know the 71 Myers Brothers, 200 at Bowman Gray Stadium. Officially doesn't have a Cup winner because the Grand Am car won it. Again, that's a story for another show. Alright, so the number 10, the 10th car number that has the most starts, the number 42. 1,685 races. The first race was NASCAR's Race 3 at Hillsborough Speedway in 1849. Lee Petty made 427 starts in his career. The very first one for the number 42 was Race 3 of the 49 season. 46 different drivers have raced the number 42. Lee Petty, out of the 427 career starts he had, 414 in the 42. Kyle Petty had 286. Juan Pablo Montoya had 252. Kyle Larson, 219. Jimmy McMurray, 108. Joe Nemechek, 94. All those starts either came with Lee Petty Enterprises or Chip Ganassi / Felix Sabates. Number 9 on the list is the famous number 21 for the Wood Brothers. 1,688 starts. The first start for the number 21 came in the same Hillsborough race, number 3 of the NASCAR. So number 3 race of NASCAR, 1949. Bobby Green, he made 2 career starts. His first for the 21 was that third race. 83 different drivers have driven the 21. As iconic as that 21 is when you think of the Wood Brothers, believe it or not, nobody's really gone stupid crazy amount of those 1,600 races. David Pearson, 157. Elliott Sadler, 139. Morgan Shepherd, 121. Neil Bonnet, 114. Ricky Rudd, 108. Michael Waltrip, 95. Those are all with the Wood Brothers, too. Number 8 on the list is the famous number 9. 1,731 races. The first race that the number 9 entered in was the very first race of NASCAR, Charlotte, 1949. Pee Wee Martin drove the car that day. He made 3 career starts. 100 different drivers have started a Cup race in the number 9. The most by Austin Bill from Dawsonville. Bill Elliott, 446. Casey Kane is second with 247. Roy Tyner, 224. Chase from the same place, Chase Elliott, 180. Marcus Ambrose, 144. And then Lake Speed, 103. Number 7 on the list is the number 88. 1,747 starts. The very first start for the number 88 was in that very first NASCAR race at Charlotte in 1949. George Mantooth started the 88 car that day. He made 2 career starts altogether. 95 different drivers have ran the 88. Robert Yates Racing and Dale Jarrett, 380 starts. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 340 starts for Henry Motorsports. Darrell Waltrip, 88 would have been, wow, can't think of the name of the team now. Holman Moody, I believe it was. Was it Holman Moody? No, I'll think of it later. Buddy Baker, 123 starts, same car as Darrell Waltrip. Alex Bowman, 118. Ricky Rudd, 62. Who did Darrell drive for? Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to look that stuff up now. So hang on one moment. Let's go Darrell Waltrip. Old D-Dub. It's one of those things that's on the tip of my tongue. I just cannot think, because it was not a good situation. Dygaard, that's what it was, Dygaard. So Darrell drove for Dygaard. Yeah, it was Bill Gardner and Mike DiPerasso. Yeah, they were fighting toward the end there, because Bobby Allison went there, Darrell went there. Yeah, because that's what Darrell won his championships, the 88 Gatorade car, Dygaard. And that's what Buddy Baker drove for as well. Number 6 on the list comes from number 4, 1,756 starts. First start was 1949 for the number 4, the number 1 race at Charlotte. Frank Moody started that race in the number 4. He ended up making 52 career starts. 113 different drivers drove the famous number 4. Kevin Harvick, 324 starts. John Spears, 289. Rex White, 168. Sterling Marlin, 125, including back-to-back Daytona 500 victories, which was his first 2 career wins. Ernie Irvan, 105 starts. Bobby Hamilton, 101. Number 5 on the list comes the number 6. 1,795 races for that number 6. The first start for the number 6 came at the Daytona Road Course, Daytona Beach, 1949. The second race of the year for NASCAR. Second race period for NASCAR. Marshall Teague drove the number 6 that day. He made 23 career starts. 110 different drivers have had that number 6 on the side of the car, led by Mark Martin, 619 starts. David Reagan, 180. David Pearson, 165. Trevor Bayne, 129. Ryan Newman, 105. And Cotton Owens, 103. Number 4 on the list comes from the number 17, 1,847 starts. Again, the first race for the number 17 was the second race in NASCAR history, the Daytona Beach Road Course. Sarah Christian drove the car. She had 7 career Cup Series starts. 96 different drivers drove that number 17, led by Matt Kenseth, 471, followed by Darrell Waltrip, old DW, 344. I remember Darrell when he drove the 17 Tide for Darwall Racing. Darrell Waltrip Racing, is that what we called it then? Yeah, Darrell Waltrip Motorsports. When he would be talking as the driver, and then somebody was like, "Can I speak to the car owner?" He turned his hat on backwards, put a cigar in his mouth. "You tell you what that driver I got, I gotta fire that something." It was hilarious when the owner would come out. Ricky Stenhouse, 251. David Pearson, 140. Of all the iconic car numbers, number 21, David Pearson, 157 starts. The number 6, David Pearson, 165 starts. The number 17, David Pearson, 140 starts. Fred Harb, 110 starts, and Chris Buescher, 107 starts, and the number 17. Number 3 on the list of the car numbers with the most career NASCAR Cup Series starts. The number 2. First race was the first race of NASCAR, 1949. Charlotte, race 1. Sam Rice drove the car that day. He ended up with 2 career starts. 116 different drivers drove the number 2. Now, when we talk about retiring numbers, if we were, say, retire this number for whomever, some of these drivers wouldn't be on there. I like the fact that NASCAR doesn't retire numbers because you can see some of the who's who of NASCAR. So the number 2, Rusty Wallace, 522 starts. Brad Keselowski, 396 starts. Kurt Busch, 180 starts. Dave Marcus, 136 starts. Bobby Allison, 103 starts in the number 2. And the great Dale Earnhardt, 78 starts in the number 2. The second most starts by any car number in NASCAR Cup Series history, which, honestly, if you ask me, has some of the biggest names in NASCAR that drove it. The number 11. 2,132 starts. Only 3 car numbers had over 2,000 starts. The number 2, the number 11, and the number 43. The number 11 got his first start in NASCAR's first race. Skip Hinsley drove the car, his only career NASCAR start. 69 different drivers drove the number 11. Denny Hamlin, 614 starts, the 11 FedEx. I can remember the blue Ford Galaxy for Ned Jarrett, 324 starts. The number 11 had lowest sponsorship at one point for Brett Bodine, 259 starts. Kelly Yarborough, who can forget the number 11 Hickory Farms Chevrolet won 3 straight championships for Junior Johnson and Associates, 76, 77, and 78. Of course, Darrell Waltrip, the number 11 Budweiser, teaming with the number 12 Budweiser. Darrell Waltrip driving that number 11 car, 178 starts. And then Terry Labonte, also driving the number 11 Budweiser for Junior Johnson Motorsports. So Ned Jarrett, who did Ned drive for back then when he drove the number 11? I thought it might be Junior, but I'll find out here. 90 years old Ned Jarrett is. I did not realize that. So when Ned drove the 11 car, he drove it for himself, he drove it for B.G. Holloway, he drove it for Burton Robinson, Bondi Long. Yeah, so that was before Junior's time as a car owner. Wow. And then, obviously, the number 1 most iconic car number in NASCAR history, the number 43. 2,205 starts. The 43 has been around since the 4th race in NASCAR history. Jack Russell drove it back then, among other drivers. 5 career starts for Jack Russell. 47 different drivers have strapped in to the number 43. We look at the famous number 43. But before 1958, when Richard Petty drove it, a multitude of drivers drove it. But since the King took over in 1958, the number 43 has been a staple in NASCAR. Richard Petty, 1,125 starts. Eric Almirola, 208 starts. The late John Andretti, 197 starts. Bubba Wallace, 112 starts. Bobby Labonte, 108 starts. Bobby Hamilton, 94 starts. And now we have Eric Jones piloting the famous number 43. We got the victory lane at Darlington Southern 500. So the number 43, the number 11, the number 2 have all started over 2,000 starts each of the 2,700 NASCAR starts. Those are the most starts by car number. Stay tuned to Robert Sports Show as we go to the most starts by, or most wins by car number. And then we also have a special driver profile of Jeffrey Earnhardt. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.